How can you be the man, the godly husband that your wife is so desperate for you to become? That is what we're going to talk about today. Hey, my friend, welcome to The Beat. My name is Parr. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time here on this channel, we answer frequently asked questions about the Christian faith. We talk about dating and relationships from a Christian perspective, and we do all sorts of other Bible-based videos as well. So if you're new, consider subscribing. So it is Friday, and you all know what that means. We are going through the book of Ephesians chapter by chapter, and we have come to Ephesians chapter 5, that famous chapter that talks about the roles of a wife and the role of a husband. And the last three videos, we spent some time and talked specifically to the ladies about what it meant to be a godly woman and what it looks like to submit to their husbands. And now we're focusing and turning our attention to talk specifically to the men. And guys, I really want to encourage you to tune in every single Friday until this series is over, because I know it's going to be a blessing to you. Now, before we get started, let me just go out and say this. Everything that I'm going to share with you in this series of videos is not me talking down to you, but me talking to you. In other words, I am also still on the same journey as you are, as I am trying to learn what it looks like to love my wife as Christ loved the church. With that out of the way, there are three problems that I see that we as men face. And the first problem is measuring ourselves according to the wrong standard. So in other words, some of us men think that we are great husbands because we provide food and clothing, we don't cheat on our wives, we get them gifts for Mother's Day and their birthday. And the reality is that she requires so much more. That's a good start, but that's simply us doing the bare minimum. That's simply doing what is expected for us to do as a husband. Let me put it this way. Let's say you went to your boss and you said, hey, I deserve a promotion. He says, why? You said, well, because I show up for work every day, I'm on time, and I do the things that you asked me to do. To which he replies and says, you know what? That doesn't mean that you are deserving of a promotion. That's what's expected of you. You're supposed to come to work. You're supposed to be on time. You're supposed to do the things that I give you. In what ways did you go above and beyond what was expected? When you do that, then you could possibly be considered a great employee. In the same way, if we think that just by doing these few things we're a great husband, then we can be quickly disillusioned because she needs so much more. The second problem that we face is that we may very well be ignorant of what it looks like to be a godly man or a godly husband. And this is not necessarily always our fault. We may not have seen a good example or a good model in our home, and maybe no one has ever taught us what this looks like. And in this series, we are going to fix this problem. The third problem is the worst, and that is the fact that we may know exactly what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to love our wives, but we simply just choose not to do it. So this is worse, because knowing what you're supposed to do and not doing it is worse than not knowing and not doing. So in Ephesians chapter 5, Paul gives us just two commands on what we should do as husbands. Number one, we should love our wives as Christ loved the church. And then second of all, we should love our wives just as we love our own bodies. And today we're going to focus on what it looks like to love our wives as Christ loved the church. We're going to zero in on the phrase that says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. And so in this series, I'm going to give you several words, all of which start with the letter S. And today we're only going to deal with one word, and that is the word sacrifice. So my definition of sacrifice involves three things. Number one, giving up something that is valuable to you. Number two, for the sole purpose or benefit of someone else. And then number three, without expecting anything in return. So what are some things that a godly man should be regularly sacrificing for his wife? Well, number one, we should be sacrificing our time. This may mean that you really may want to spend time working, but instead you put that aside so you can spend time with her. Or maybe you really want to hang out with the fellas, but you put that aside so you can spend time with her. Or maybe you feel like playing golf or watching that game, and you sacrifice those things that you really want to do with your time so that you can invest in her. And the reason why this is so important is because whenever we don't do that, she often does not feel valued or prioritized. But whenever we do, she realizes, well, this man really loves me because I know that he would rather be doing this, but I see him consistently sacrificing his time over here to spend time with me. And in doing so, it makes her feel valued and special, and it makes it easier for her to respond and respect you. It may mean that you have to sacrifice your time to go shopping with her because you don't want to do it, but it's valuable and quality time for her. It may mean that you have to sacrifice time at work so that you can go to a doctor's appointment with her that she really is nervous about and she just wants you around. It may mean that you have to sacrifice some sleep, brothers, and get up in the middle of the night and change a diaper so she can sleep and get the rest that she needs so she can go to work the next day. All of these things are ways that we can sacrifice our time to show that we love our wives. The second way that we should be sacrificing for our wives, which should be general knowledge but isn't in many situations, is we need to sacrifice our independence. So men, whenever we get married, we basically are saying, hey, I am giving up my independence. I'm giving up my independent single way of thinking. So that means I have to be accountable now to my wife in terms of how I spend my time, where am I at every day, how I spend my money, who I talk to privately, having no secrets, laying everything bare, who I spend my time with, who my friends are. All of these things, whenever we keep secrets, whenever we don't allow our wives into our lives, whenever we try to act independently, she gets insecure because she thinks that there's some secret thing that we're doing over here, and she just simply wants to be in the know. She wants to know what is going on in our lives. And so we need to sacrifice this single independent mentality and become accountable and transparent to our wives. And the third and final thing that I want to encourage us to sacrifice is our money. Listen, whenever you were single, you may be able to spend the money the way you want to spend it. You may be used to having nice clothes, nice cars, nice certain things, going on all these vacations. But now that you're married, your wife needs your money. You may need to sacrifice the things that you want to do with your money so that she can have. So in other words, you need to choose to go without so that she can have. Brothers, I'm telling you, whenever your wife sees you sacrificing things that she knows deep in her heart that are really important to you, she is going to say, wow, this man truly does love me. I don't feel like his last priority. I feel special. I feel valued. I feel prioritized because he is putting my love on top. And as a result, when you do that, she is going to open up and blossom like a flower and respond to you in ways you never imagined. So brothers, we are just getting started on this journey. In the next several videos, I'm going to give you more words that start with the letter S that can help us better understand and study our wives so that we can be the godly men that they need us to be, so we can love our wives just as Christ loved the church. If you know some men that really need to hear this, whether you're a woman watching this or a guy watching this, single or married, it doesn't matter, would you do me a favor and share this series with them so that they can be blessed as well? Check out some of the other videos on this channel while you're here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time on The Beat.